Shaq Fu 2! Shaq Fu 2? Shaq Fu 2? No matter how you say it, it sounds like pain incarnate. Oh, you don't know about Shaq Fu? Well, it's notorious for being one of the worst video games ever made. But why was it so bad? And the real question is, why make a sequel decades later? Well, let's try and figure out this whole mess and see if Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn is worth your time and dollars. I doubt it, but humor me. In the 1990s, Shaquille O'Neal was the hottest basketball superstar on the scene. He was gigantic, he was charismatic, and he could shoot free throws like no one else. His skills on the court led to championships, and the legend of Shaq Diesel was born. Shakovic had it all, so many people tried to harness his allure and use it outside of the b-ball court. The big Aristotle then began starring in movies like the critically acclaimed Kazam. He had rap albums that topped the charts. He could do no wrong. That is, until they slapped his face on a video game called Shaq Fu. Shaq Fu was a fighting game starring our 7-foot hero, but his appeal alone could not salvage that festering dump heap. It was sluggish, unresponsive, and cheap. Definitely not worthy of Mayor McShack. Even with my tiny kid brain, I figured out it was crap, and went back to playing Street Fighter 2. After Shaq Fu, the people were sad, and they began to lash out, trying to destroy all known cartridges of Shaq Fu on the planet. Shaq himself fell into a deep depression, vowing to right his wrong by starring in hilarious Gold Bond commercials for eternity. That is, until 2014, when some maniacs decided to make a sequel to Shaq Fu. Even more astonishing is they got Shaq Daddy on board to lend his luscious voice. Needless to say, though I was burned before, I was excited to see Shaq Fu given a second chance, because I'm seriously a Shaq fan. Fast forward to 2018, and now it's time for Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn. And booting up the game, we're off to a bad start, as it took over 3 minutes for the title screen to load up. But after the PlayStation 1 levels of horrible loading, I was happy to see the comical Shaq art and hear the booming voice of the Diesel himself rapping on a new track. The song was hilarious and brought a smile to my face. Thus began a roller coaster of emotions, as Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn has tiny moments of greatness, tons of mediocrity, and plenty of downright awfulness. A Legend Reborn stars Shaq, of course, and the story is actually kind of charming. Baby Shaq was thrown into a river in China and saved from drowning by a strange whale. He then grows up on the mean streets of Hung Lo and is bullied by his peers since he's a giant. He is taught Kung Fu by Master Ye Ye, who explains how it will come in handy in the future. Years pass and Shaq grows to be a master himself and must use his skills to save the world from the horrible Yen Lo Wang because, of course, he is the chosen one. There isn't anything remotely special about this story, but I really like the art of the cutscene animations. And Shaq has masterful delivery with his voiceover.
If I wanted money, I would have become a basketball player, demon.
It also has plenty of jokes that break the fourth wall, calling out these overused tropes, how the plot makes no sense, and I especially loved all the Gold Bond references.
I get paid every time I say Gold Bond. Gold Bond, Gold Bond, Gold Bond.
A Legend Reborn is self-aware, and it makes no excuses for being cheesy, which is why we love Shaq. But the story hits a wall, because a major plot point is that Shaq must kill demons, who are celebrities in disguise. This leads to dated references galore, poking fun at celebrities like Paris Hilton, Kim Kardashian, and Justin Bieber. To me, this is the lowest form of comedy. They should have stuck to the cheese and left out the attempt at being edgy, because it ruins what could have been an enjoyable story. The original Shaq Fu was a fighting game, but here they opted to make a beat-em-up. A staple of the genre is good old couch co-op. So who does Shaq team up with? Kobe? His TV pal Charles Barkley? Maybe Steel? Nope. So who? No one. It's single player only. A solo beat-em-up is blasphemy, not to mention half the fun. This is huge points off from me. You control only Shaq on his quest to defeat the demonic celebrities as you use your food to fight hordes of uninspired enemies. Shaq can jump, which is rarely needed, do basic punches and kicks, a dash attack, use his souped up size 22 shoe, and perform a super punch to the ground to damage everything in the surrounding area. Not too shabby of a repertoire. The game is shockingly playable, and the controls didn't give me an issue. From time to time, you can pick up weapons like stop signs or barrels, but they are limited in use. I like how while fighting, you can send minions flying into the screen. It's a very nice touch. If you get hit, don't worry, because Icy Hot will be there to soothe what ails you. Shaq does make some funny quips while fighting, but again, they can be hit or miss. The big problem with the gameplay is that enemies are dispatched easily, and each stage has the same style of baddies, only with different looks. It's incredibly monotonous and mind-numbing just slamming down the same button over and over again with no consequence. Even the boss fights are a slog. And the only thing that changes the fights up is that Shaq can get a diesel-powered suit and turn into a cactus? Oh yeah, they don't call him the Shactus for nothing. These forms are a nice change of pace until you realize it actually makes the game even easier and just multiplies your boredom. It's endless waves of enemies. So just like the celebrity jokes, the gameplay feels very outdated. There are only a total of 6 stages, all of which are unremarkable and have the celebrity boss at the end. Each boss is a walk in the park, and the attempt to shoehorn in funny bits is laughable more than the jokes themselves. If you think that fighting the Kim Kardashian character and her turning into a giant butt is top quality humor, then I hope you seek help immediately. The graphics are that of a weak mobile game and are completely devoid of the charm of the animated cutscenes. Visually, it's completely unappealing. And you can add the music to that description because after the Shaq rap, every song is forgettable. The whole game can be completed in just a few hours, and there are no incentives for a second playthrough. It's insane to think that beat-em-ups released decades earlier have done it way better, but it seems that the legend of Shaq Fu should have never been reborn. Shaq Fu Legend Reborn is mechanically superior to its predecessor, but that's not saying much at all. The first Shaq Fu game had a pinch of originality, but this game just fails on all fronts with its graphics, gameplay, and sound, and not even the Big Shaq Diesel's presence could save it from mediocrity. A physical copy of this game costs $30 to $40, and a digital copy is $20, and either way, it's asking for way too much money for what you get. Hopefully there's another group of deranged fans out there who set out and try to destroy all trace of this game. After the Bubsy reboot and now Shaq Fu, I can't understand why people want to revive the horrors of our youth. So what do you guys think about the new Shaq Fu? Did the developers Fu it up or what? Is there a game series you would have preferred to see revived? Let me know down in the comments below. I'll see you next time, and remember, it's all fun and games. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked that video, check out my review of Bloodstained Curse of the Moon. And if you like It's All Fun and Games, make sure to subscribe. Thanks again.